Okay, so let's kind of clean up our data here so it's ready to be presented in a better way. So our U value and V value, that's a little difficult to kind of reconstruct where that is on the site, but the number slider is really the width of the building. The math floor is the number of floors, and I've already changed the number of views to its term number of views. So I'm going to just close out this study. There I have changed the number for the list count is now called number of views. I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to kind of rename these. This number slider, we'll go ahead and rename it. And we'll call it width of building. And the other one was that math floor. So I want to come over here and I'm going to rename this. Now one of the problems with renaming it is really losing the value of the node, but they put up that little box to kind of help you out. So we'll call the math floor number of floors. And now that we've had these little more clarity on the way we've labeled these, I'll save that file and we'll go and export that for a generative design, and we'll call it video run 3. I practiced with 1 and 2, and we'll go ahead and export that and close this off, and that'll make a study available for us. And I'll drag that window in and we'll slide down, and there's video run 3. And I want to run this a little bit randomized. So we now have width of building as a input value, and we're asking for number of solutions. We could actually it runs pretty fast, so let's just change this just to see. We'll run 75 runs of it, and we'll go ahead and generate that, and it'll take a little bit longer, but not much. So now we want to do a little bit of filtering, but now if you look at our data set here, we have U, V, width of building, and number of floors, and number of views. And so we can actually do some filtering here. By just clicking on this, I can adjust this slider so that we're only picking the solution set that has more than, well, let's see if I can go in here. It would be only 14 floors. So it's just our tallest building, which makes the most sense because if you look at our data set, there's no shorter building that's going to generate that number of views. Now, if we, obviously we could look at different solutions, especially if we're limited by code about building height. But it's kind of obvious that the taller we build, the more views we get. And now we really want to look at just optimizing these numbers of views by the placement on the site. And so we come up with a much smaller set of constraints. And we don't really want to look at number of floors now. We want to look at number of views. And we want to pick the best solution. So we want to change this down so that it is, I believe they call that, it's now descending, ascending, descending. So this one is the highest value. This one is the lowest value at the 14 floor level. And it's really still the same data set, so we still have that one parked over here in the edge. But at least we know, now we can see how many simulations were run with that value system of placements. I see that it's been placed on the opposite corner here. It's on this corner here. What looks like has been missing in the run is placing it way over on that side. So we might want to actually just generate more UV views for this. But the takeaway here is now we have kind of our first look at automating a process by changing, it's automatically placing the building at different points and then making evaluations for intersecting or non-intersecting with buildings. So this is really quite a powerful tool to help automate our analysis of things. And then we can go ahead and obviously make selections by changing the levels of filters here. So for instance, obviously if I pick anything that's less than 40 feet wide, I have no solutions when I have number of floors of 14 because that just never occurs. So I can pick all kinds of solution sets here in order to pick our to look at our optimized value. Just an introduction. Thank you for. It's a tedious nature to set up the whole process, but I think the final output is a really good instructive first go round at looking at how generative design works.